Don't wiggle. Whew, this tripod I got from Wish is a trip. Anyway, this is actually take 3 of this vlog because this girl doesn't know how to edit yet. I don't even have software to do it. So if you have any suggestions, please comment. I had to close the windows, unfortunately. I love having the windows open all the time, but they're doing yard work outside. Fantastic, right? And they're weed whacking right by my windows. And so my lighting isn't as good as last time, which is sad. I like having the backlit window. I think it looks pretty. Got my nice little Juness t-shirt on my dress form right now. I use this for doing my, well, my husband did the photos, but I'm the one who kind of chose the designs and stuff. But that's what I use to take photos of the infinity scarves that I make. So I thought this would be cute and quirky. Anyway, I'm rambling. I like to ramble. Just get ready for it. First things first, I'm going to talk about my weight loss. I figure even though not every single one of these vlogs is going to be about weight loss, I'm going to do a weight loss check-in since a big part of this is holding myself accountable. So I've lost 3 pounds this week. I'm down to 236, and that's kind of a big deal for me. 3 pounds I think is a pretty good rate to be losing weight, considering that I haven't made a lot of changes to my diet. I have cut most of the big offenders for dairy out of my diet. I don't have cream in my coffee anymore. I've got a delightful, I'm just trying this new coffee. It's just called Joe, J-O. We got it online. It's organic and fair trade, and I think, or I don't know, after I upload this, I'll go and like link the Amazon for it. Let me try it before I start suggesting it to you guys, right? Pretty good. It's one of those, I grind my coffee very fine, so it's very strong tasting. It's decaf, but it's very, ooh, it's got a really nice aftertaste. Anyway, we're going to talk a little bit about being gluten-free before I get into the fun crafts and books. Because I even have a few friends, and you know who you are, man, who don't believe in gluten intolerance. And like they literally just don't believe it exists. And I've had 3 doctors diagnose me, well, 2 doctors diagnosed me, and 1 doctor suggested I might be gluten intolerant. The doctor who suggested I might be gluten intolerant was my obstetrician. She suggested, why don't you talk to your primary care, have the blood test done, and if the blood test comes back positive, then you will end up going to see basically a stomach doctor. Oh gosh, I can't remember what it is right now. And they will diagnose you whether or not you have like adult onset celiac, gluten intolerance, whatever you want to call it. And so my obstetrician told me to ask. I went to my primary care, they did the blood test, and the blood test came back positive. So then I went to see my stomach doctor, who is fantastic, and he has the most amazing mutton chops in the world, and they did a scope, and the scope came back showing that I didn't have any particularly bad damage to my intestines. I didn't have the discoloration, I didn't have the abrasions that you would expect with somebody who has adult onset celiac. But he said that because I had been gluten-free after I got the blood test, I went gluten-free almost completely immediately, and by a week I was completely gluten-free. And he said that that might be why I wasn't seeing any damage, because it was 4 months between diagnosis and with the blood test and my scope. So gastroenterologist, just remembered what he's called. Wish I could edit. So he told me that he's diagnosing me with adult onset celiac, that because I got the blood test and that my intestines were inflamed but not damaged. And so that was enough for him to give me that diagnosis. So I have seen a gastroenterologist, I have seen a medical doctor, and I've had doctors tell me that I'm gluten-free. So first of all, gluten intolerance is a real thing, and I get so sick of people saying that it's not. And second of all, if somebody's gluten-free and you don't believe in gluten intolerance, just shut your hole. It's none of your business. Why do you care that somebody is going to spend the extra money on gluten-free tat when it's none of your business? If it's making them feel better, let them eat whatever the hell they want. Like, deal with it. Just shut up. None of your business. Okay, that's the worst swearing I'm going to do, hopefully, on this channel. I'm trying really hard to cut back on swearing because I have a 4-year-old in the house and she's picking up words very easily because she speaks very, very well now. And if you exclaim something around her, she's going to exclaim it the next day. And so I don't want her doing that around her grandparents. I don't want her doing that at school. I don't want her doing it at the library around other kids. So, so I'm trying really hard not to swear. And I would also really like this channel to be, you know, at the very least PG, because I want my friends with kids to be able to sit down and watch it. So anyway, so weight loss is going okay. I've cut most of my fast carbs out now. Not all of them, because there's still like a few little snacks and a few little things in the house that I eat that have fast carbs, but I'm not gonna just throw food in the garbage because I'm on a new diet. That doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make financial sense to me. So, like I just finished my gluten-free bread the other day, and that, you know, I'm still gonna have some fast carbs for a little while. I have switched to snacking on fruit a lot. I've got this smoothie. I haven't touched it because there's granola in it and it keeps getting stuck in my teeth. I don't want to be picking at my teeth while I'm doing my video. Also, I don't like it very much. The granola gives it a really weird texture. Cat, shoo. Go away. My cat's playing with paper on the floor. My cat drives me crazy. She's ancient and evil. There she goes again. Yeah. Sorry about that. Once again, I can't edit, so if you have suggestions for easy to use editing software for somebody who is challenged like I am in the department of electronics and technology, please let me know, because I don't know about any of this stuff. And now she's chewing on plastic in the other room. I can't handle this. This cat is driving me crazy. She's driving me crazy. So let's get to the fun part. I promised that this vlog would not be all about weight loss again, and I am almost 8 minutes in, and I've talked mostly about being gluten-free and and my weight loss so far. So we're gonna get into we're gonna do books first and then crafts. I'm saving the best for last, making you guys stick around. I have some really cool things that I finished a long time ago, some things I finished recently. We're gonna talk about some yarn. So yay, yarn. One of the yarns I'm gonna talk about is, I don't have it with me right now. I don't have any of the finished products. They're buried. I'm not dealing with it right now, but I'm gonna talk about it because it's really good and you can just go look at it yourself. So let's start with what I recently finished. So this book is destroyed. It got some water damage. Luckily, it's not a library book, thank goodness, but I recently finished Beautiful Creatures by Cami Garcia and Margaret Stoll. This is a young adult novel. It's obviously a tome, and there are 2 other books in the series that are also tomes. And until about, I want to say, page 400, probably closer to 500, I was on board. I was like, yes, I am doing this. I am going to read this whole series. This is fantastic. I cannot wait. Let's do this thing. I was into the story. I was into the characters. It was so good. And then we got to this plot twist at the end. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but it's not the same as the movie if you've seen the movie, which, by the way, the movie is beautiful. It is gorgeous. If you've read the book and you watch the movie, there's some little things that are but it is a beautifully shot movie. It is gorgeous. It has Jeremy Irons in it. It has oh, I can't remember the actress's name right now. She did Professor Trelawney in the Harry Potter movies, Emma something, Emma Thompson. It's so pretty. It's so well done. It's a beautiful movie, and the plot twist in the book that made me suddenly hate the book is not in it, which is beautiful. I would have given anything for the ending to be closer to the movie's ending, and I'm sure it has something to do with the other books, but and maybe they knew they weren't going to be making all of the books into movies, but still. It's so, isn't it really disappointing when you're so into a book and then they add something, they upped the stakes in a way that was completely unnecessary. It's unnecessary stake upping, and you didn't need it. You didn't need it. Don't do that, books. So I'm so mad. Like, I spent a month and a half reading this book, 6 weeks on this almost 600-page book, and they just ruin it at the end. It's so frustrating. I'm sorry, not sorry, but like, it's the same way with games. So there's this video game called Two Worlds 2. It was a sequel, obviously. I didn't play the first one, but I was into the second one, into it, and never beat it. I was on the final boss battle, and it went from being a beautiful action-based RPG a la Skyrim and Elder Scrolls. And the final boss battle was basically like a rail shooter or turret shooter or whatever you want to say. You basically had to shoot this dragon from these stupid arrow turrets, like the big one that they use in Game of Thrones. That was how that story was supposed to end for me. After spending 96 hours of an RPG running around and making potions and beating up creatures in the wilderness, and then I have to stand on a freaking turret and shoot a gun. Not okay, Two Worlds 2. Oh my gosh, I'm saucy and angry today. So it's so books and games like that just make me so mad. They make me so mad. And it's like I wasted all this time and I get no payoff. Like, really? Like, I finished Beautiful Creatures. I actually finished the book, but now I'm not going to be able to finish the series because what the hell, man? I'm not reading any more of that after that unnecessary stake upping. What are you going to do next? You know? Is she going to become a werewolf or some stupid thing like that? I almost had a not okay for primetime television swear there. I'm trying to keep those out of here. So that's the book that I just finished. I also finished a book that I had to return to the library right away. I returned it last week. I finished it while we were at the library after I did my vlog, so I didn't get a chance to talk about it. It was called Teach Yourself the Celtic Myths, and it was really cool. It had lots of information about the Celtic myths, about a handful of Celtic myths. Obviously, it wasn't all of them. It wasn't a particularly thick book, but some important ones. It talked about Grania, who's one of my favorite Celtic characters. And that's the thing about the Celtic myths. The Celtic gods were not always gods. They walked with the people. They had occasionally godlike powers, but most of the time so they were never born with them. Most of the time they earned them in some way. So it's very Greek in that sense, except that the Greek gods live up on Mount Olympus and the Celtic gods live in their castles around with the people. It's really cool. I haven't read up a lot about Norse gods, but apparently Norse gods are also very close to the people. Like, they're not deities in the sense that they live in their own special place and they walk amongst the people. They are mortal. They are, they're real in a way that a lot of other branches of mythology and branches of religion are not real. And I love that. So that was a really good book. It was called Teach Yourself the Celtic Myths. I don't remember the author right now. I'm also, I was reading, I have to return it though, and I guess they have to stay on the library shelf for like a week before I can pick them back up again. I have a Celtic mythology book that's just really thick, and it's just a whole bunch of Celtic myths. And it's like, apparently the myths are all like family appropriate, the way that they're written, because some of them might not be if they're written the normal way, because they're a bit scary sometimes. So I've got that one. I have to return it to the library, leave it on the shelf for a week, and I'm going to pick it back up. And then there's another one that I got that I didn't get to finish, and it was The Secrets of the Celtic Tree Ogham. I think it's Ogham is how you say it. And it's about their writing. It's, I believe, mostly their ritualistic writing. They have this really interesting way of writing on their standing stones mostly. There is a way to write it for like on pages and for text, but it was originally used for the standing stones. So that was really, really good. So I'm going to check that one out soon too. I have another book from the library. You guys are probably going to be disappointed in me because I call myself a bookworm, but I have not read very many of the classics. The closest I've ever read to a classic was Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. So I decided, because I am obsessed with the film Clueless, I love it so much, a bunch of people have told me that it's basically a retelling of the story of Emma with, of course, some changes. And so I got myself Emma from the library, and I'm reading it, and I like Jane Austen. She's not dry. She's not dry like a bunch of the other authors from her day and age. Like, I like it. I'm in it. It's good. I'm not very far. You can tell I'm not very far. I'm page 9. I haven't even gotten to the first chapter. But I like it. It's well written. It's fun. You're seeing from the point of view of somebody who seems pretty truly innocent. And I like that. I like an innocent character, especially after reading some books recently that the characters, that like there's no books and movies and stuff. Sometimes there's just no true innocent. So, final book. Don't shake the table, Amber. Your tripod is crap. Anyway, final book I'm going to talk about. World of Warcraft cookbook. I'm pretty sure that this doesn't automatically flip, so some of these are going to be looked backwards to you. I'll figure that out eventually. But this thing, I have not made a bad recipe from this book. Most of it I can't have on my diet. But there's a lot of soups in here that I can. It's so good. Everything in it is good. Tonight I'm going to be making the Yuping soup, which has chicken and fish in it, and it's gingery and delicious. So, yay. Let's get to crafts. I am currently working on Snowflake by Tin Can Knits. This was, I said it in my last vlog, this was gifted to me. It's probably gonna look like a hot mess right now because it is, I'm not done with my sleeves and it has been blocked. So you're not gonna get to see really the lace all that well. But I made one of these for my daughter already. And I'm using Cloudborn Fibers yarn. I don't have the information on it, but it's wool, alpaca, and silk. It is amazing. It's the Craftsy yarn. It's the Craftsy specific yarn, and it is so soft and so nice, and it's got a little bit of a halo. It does have a few like hairs that come off, but it's got a little bit of a halo, and it's so pretty, and it's got very good stitch definition. I cannot recommend this yarn enough, and Craftsy has sales frequently, and if you catch it at the right time. I got this for, like, here is an untouched, mostly untouched skein of it. Yeah, mostly untouched skein of it. Pretty big. I forget the yardage, but it's a decent yardage. Of this particular, Cloudborn Fibers has a whole bunch. This is like their I think it's like their DK or fingering weight. I think it's their DK weight. And it's so you get a ton of yarn, and I got these when I got them on sale. I got them for $4.50 a hank, which is crazy for wool, alpaca, and silk. Come on, people. So wonderful yarn. It comes in a lot of colors. I've got some lace weight in a box over there that I'm going to be doing a shawl out of. I bought a shawl kit from them. I spent maybe $25 on it, and it came with the pattern and the yarn and all that stuff. So I also, in the Cloudborn Fibers, I make fingerless mitts to sell on my Etsy. This is a pattern that I did. So if you're also a knitter, I did post this on my blog spot, which is Be My Full Moon. I think it might even be the most recent one. I haven't posted there in forever. Maybe I'll start blogging again. Let me know in the comments if you want me to start blogging again. Doing my written blogs, even if it's like my little one about herbs and their magical, medicinal, and culinary uses and stuff. But this is also the cloud-borne fibers. And like, look at that stitch definition. And I haven't even blocked these yet. I just finished them yesterday. And like, the stitch definition is so gorgeous on these. But yeah, these are my nickel and dime mitts. These, I'm going to block them and put them up on my Etsy. And the other yarn I've been using to make my nickel and dime mitts are, it's called Gina. I think it's by Plymouth Yarns. It's one of those that works a lot like Noro, where it's long stretches of color. And then they fade into one another. But what the Gina does, and I don't have any with me, I feel really bad, but what the Gina does is you can tell that they're the way that they're dyed. They then ply them, and the fading starts in the ply. So when it's going from like a brown to a green, you can see the green in one of the plies, and then the brown starts to turn green, so that then when you're at the green section, there's still some brown, and then eventually it becomes all green, and then the next color comes in. And but there are stretches of just one color, and then there are stretches of this very pretty almost heathered look because of the way it's spun. It's very pretty. It's Gina, Gina, and I'm pretty sure it's by Plymouth Yarns. I got mine over at City Knits, which is down close to Harrison Township. I don't know if it's in Harrison or close to Harrison. So if you live in my area, it's right off of 94. You get off on the Metro Parkway on 94, and you're going to want to go east. And it's right there. Like, if you get to Metro Park, you're too far. Am I telling people on the internet too much about where I live? It's not that close to me, so maybe not. So now we're going to talk about one of my old projects that I've been wearing a lot lately, and don't think I'm gross. I wash them, don't worry. So I have these beautiful socks, and they're on my Ravelry. So if you are friends with me on Ravelry, if you're not, I'm Aoray, Aourai. But I don't remember the name of this pattern because it's like this crazy German name. And, but it's got this very pretty, very simple cable all the way down. And this is done in a Madeline Tosh sock, which I am in love with Madeline Tosh yarns. I've got 2 Madeline Tosh right now in my stash waiting to be turned into a shawl. And it's in this very pretty pink and navy. So I've got 2 hanks of it. I'm going to make a shawl. I just don't know what kind of shawl I'm going to make. I kind of want to make, I made a triangle shawl last year, and then I also made a half shawl last year. And I would like to make something that's more scarf-like, maybe an oblong shawl. I did a spiral shawl. I believe it was Wingspan. I bought Wingspan, especially after there was this big thing where a company stole the Wingspan pattern and were selling it in kits. And so I was like, I'm going to support Wingspan. So I bought it, and I made a spirally kind of shawl, which still needs to be blocked. I finished it in January. Like, this is my life. And so I've made a couple different kinds of shawls recently. So I'm not sure what kind of shawl I want to make with my Madeline Tosh. So if you've got some nice suggestions, I think they're both Tosh sock. So if you have some suggestions, knitting friends, please comment down below. But yeah, this yarn, I mean, if you're a knitter or a crocheter and you're watching this and you haven't tried Madeline Tosh, I know it's a bit on the pricier side for yarn. I believe this cost $23 for this hank. But I did have a little bit left over that I'm going to be able to make a pair of mitts out of. So, because they don't take that much yarn. So, you know, it is pricey, but if you haven't had an opportunity to work with Madeline Tosh, I suggest, instead of buying cheaper yarns for a little while, especially if you've already got a pretty substantial stash, take some time, set aside the money, and get yourself some Madeline Tosh. It is a dream to knit with. It's a treat. It is an absolute treat. I love Madeline Tosh yarn. I love it so much. So I'm going to do my level best after this has been uploaded to sit down on my laptop and put links for everything that I mentioned today, and I'm going to also put some links for everything that I mentioned in my last my last vlog. I didn't mention that many products, but if I did, you know, I'm gonna put links. I'm gonna also try and put some links to all of my social media. So we're getting to the end here. It's 25 minutes. I wanted to be under 20. I ramble too much. Am I yelling? Am I yelling? I feel like I'm yelling. Anyway, so we're gonna end this. So, you know, get crafting. I had a whole nother yarn I was gonna talk about and I didn't, so maybe next time I will. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, Tumblr, and my Etsy and Store Envy as Be My Full Moon. And you can follow me on Twitter and on Ravelry as Aorai, Aourai. Or, like the boat moving stick, A, like the Canadians say. I did that wrong. It's A, like the Canadians say, or like the boat moving stick, A, like the Canadians again. Oh my gosh. If you guys didn't know, I recently gave up caffeine. So, yeah, this coffee's decaf. Anyway, now that I've completely botched my closing, I'm gonna just say goodbye. Follow me on social media, like, comment, and subscribe if you really like these ramblings. Hopefully this week I am gonna be posting a tutorial video. You'll see I have a few other tutorials. This week I'm gonna be posting the tutorial video on how to end your crochet work. And I'm also gonna be doing a tutorial for how to work your foundation chain and first row of single crochet at the same time, so you don't have to sit there and try and work into your first row of crochet, which for me, working that foundation chain is a nightmare. I hate it. So that's why I don't do that many crochet projects. So yeah, look for that. That's going to be happening this week. I just got to clear some stuff off my table. I may also do a tutorial on how to make infinity scarves. I am kind of on the fence about that though, because I make them to sell, and how much of these things that I'm doing do I want to be sharing with the world? Although infinity scarves, go on Pinterest and look it up if you want to make your own, or you can buy them from me. My Etsy's Be My Full Moon. So thanks again, everybody, for watching. I know I'm a Ramblesaurus Rex, and I talk way too much. And but sometimes you just need to get some stuff out of your brain, and this is the best way to do it without talking the ears off of everybody that I meet in real life, which I still do sometimes. And I'm sorry. I love you guys. Thanks for listening to me. Bye.